Skyrath Mage. It's not a very good hero, John.
Not against a TA, no.
No.
And it really just tore into shreds. Like level 1 for Yapaj was kind of, meh because he was forced refraction, but it fixed itself. He just needed level 2. Army Geniuses though, Puck coming out. So I'm guessing this is our Mamang Daya hero going mid. You could still swap it with the NP and one of them going off. Some flexibility on hand. Neon, with his Tiny for Yapaj, Puck can kind of punish it. It has good range. Tiny's not that tanky early on. They do pick up the Sven now. So they've got the Scam hero in play. We've seen him really perform that Sven. It's pretty nice against the Nature's Prophet. You can clear out those Treant summons. You can kind of just dance around the Puck once you have a BKB before the Ags is in play. And the Ags of Sven fixes any Sprout teasies that might happen. Of course, you might want to carry around a casual Quelling Blade just to ensure you're not going to get controlled early on, but I don't foresee that being a big issue for Scam here.
We'll find out. Sven pick, very interesting. I guess there really isn't much in the way of dealing with the Sven, but there it is. There's the Venomancer that, has that high magical output, and obviously the laning stage can be pretty rough for the Sven now. But Neon Esports again bringing out the Leshrac. Now, I talked crap about this hero in Game 1. Scam proved me wrong. Game number 2, I don't believe it is going to be a safe lane Leshrac, but probably a mid Leshrac here for Yopaj. Or even potentially an off-lane Leshrac for JG.
Yeah, it's a bit iffy because of that Tiny. I don't like the prospect of Mirana or Tiny in 5, so this Leshrac is probably gonna... We might be looking at our Tricore here already for Neon, which is rather interesting set of events for the draft, if ever. There's room for it in pause. 5, it's just so strange. I don't see that being Johnny Wells' hero. It might be JG, so JG Lesh, Yapaj Tiny, or you could flip that Tiny offlane Leshrac mid again, which is an interesting way to go about it. I think that still gives you the push, still gives you great wave clear from your Sven, from your Lesh. Magic damage is insane with Tiny Lesh, so you can play around that. And it's just pretty confident from Neon. I think they looked at game 1, as you mentioned. They looked at how well Scum played with the tempo. They're like, yeah, we could use that. We do just want to melt some towers here. Leshrac enables that. Army Geniuses, when you go Veno, it's sort of like a way to slow down a push. Leshrac in particular, though, doesn't care for it too much in terms of the ward spam. I mean, he's going to get hit, sure, but it doesn't stop the Edict from being highly effective. So you got to watch out for that from Army Geniuses. I want to see how they close out this draft now on their side. It also kind of feels like they've revealed their course, but it could be a support Venomancer with a support Earth Spirit. Could be a support Nature's Prophet if they want to do that. We haven't seen it in a while. If it's either of those cases, though, it's pretty greedy as well from Army Geniuses if those are their support duos, unless they last pick their support here. But I don't reckon it completely fixes their issues from game 1. You're still better off without Skyrat, so in that sense, I think Enting's going to be better than that game 1 here for Army Geniuses.
Good to see as well, John. I just want to say thank you to the chat. They seem very concerned about my my modem problems, which is nice to see. Nothing too surprising though. It is Australia, John. It's spiders are the least of our worries. I've got to say. We've got snakes. We've got multiple wild animals. In fact, the place me and the wife want to move to actually has just kangaroos everywhere. Like literally, they'll just jump on your front lawn constantly. And want to fight you, by the way. Like they'll legitimately get aggressive. I know it's a joke, internationally.
Oh no, they're
literally
mean guys.
They literally fight
guys.
you. Yeah, they will actually start boxing you. In fact, some Australians would have seen. There's a viral video going out that came out yesterday or the day before, where a kangaroo was fighting a koala. I'm not sure. In front of someone's house, by the way, on their front lawn. You can look this up. I'm not lying. A couple days ago, this went viral. A koala fighting a kangaroo on someone's front lawn. Google it.
What are you guys doing down there? What are you guys doing? Mike, you failed to mention the most dangerous thing in Australia.
What's that, John?
Australians! You guys are dangerous. Jeez, come on, give yourself some credit. Only the most dangerous thing would be sick enough to stay there, Mike. Y'all are sick. Y'all are crazy or on something at the very least. Jeez.
Well,
ooh, man.
Anyway, last pick up here for Neon Esports. They do go for the Abaddon. or Abaddon, as you like to say, John. It's pronunciation does matter. I think Abaddon sounds better, but people get upset and want me to say Abaddon or Abaddon. Sorry. Army Geniuses, they do go back into the TA now, so a bit of a mix-up here. Army Geniuses looks like they are going to run some kind of wacky stuff. No real hard carry here for this Dire side, so they're taking a bit of a page out of the Neon Esports book. I don't know how I feel about this, though. There is very little control. I mean, you've got the Puck, which is pretty darn good with the Silence and the Dream Coil. And of course, the Earth Spirit is quite potent with his own control. But assuming you've expended that Dream Coil, and the Earth Spirit maybe dies or is having a tough time in the team fight, I feel like you're kind of screwed. Whereas I look to Neon, they've got the Mirana Arrow, they've got the Tiny Avalanche Toss, they've got the Sven Stormhammer, they've got the Split Earth, and... What?
John Uwell Sven?
Oh!
It's a support Sven for Neon?
Pause for Sven. John, this was a thing back in the day.
Oh, it was.
It was.
I used to play support Sven because I was really dumb.
Yeah.
All of us were really dumb. That was Dota 1 Classic.
Yeah.
Oh,
support
man,
Sven
Neon.
with the Leshrac. With the Leshrac, you would go the double stun draft where you just Stormhammer into the Split Earth. Dota 1, it was a great, great old time. And looks like Neon Esports, they remember, John. They're bringing it back.
It's a throwback here for Neon. Army, it's such a wacky draft from both sides. So we get the Skemlesh back, JG on an Abaddon, which is not too strange. There's not many amazing spells to purge off of, but you have some uses here. Really great frontliner. Gonna make it annoying for our Venomancer to get his full damage off with that instant purge here. Army Geniuses now, there's a lot more pressure in Mamang Daya to build up in the TA. We need to see him hit the same timings that we saw Yapaj pull off in game 1. Just kind of want to get that Deso blink up at a really good point. UK on the support puck, it's not too strange as well. It's just that support puck sharing that spot with an Earth Spirit is super greedy, and Army Geniuses needs to find a way to get that EXP distribution here rather smoothly, because if you starve out the support puck, well, you and I have seen that happen, Mike. It just kind of turns into a range creep for a while.
It does. We'll move on though, John. Game number 2, Neon obviously looking for a 2-0 victory if they can afford to, and Army Geniuses just want to try and draw this one out. I did not have a look at the group standings, but I will right now, and now Army Geniuses, they are still bottom place at the moment, so the draw's going to help a little bit, but it's still looking pretty rough for them in terms of the group standings. But for Neon, they're sitting in the 6th place spot. If they do get this win, I believe that would be enough to move them up to the upper bracket slot of the group stages. So a 2-0 victory would be very, very nice here for Neon if they can achieve it.
Yeah, definitely would be help them start to claw away at the gap that goes into that upper bracket start. But you might see something different here. I think we talked about the greed for Army Geniuses. I think if they can just keep running down these lanes, using this early power spike these heroes naturally have, and then they can really make it work. They just need to get that running. They need to really find those kills, and if they find First Blood, I think you're going to set yourself up well.
Januel gonna be the frontliner here. LYM looking very confused as to why there's a support Sven in the game as the Arrow and Double Split Earth comes in, and that is a perfect combination here from Neon Esports. Oh, John, it's bringing back some memories. It really is. I love it. I love it so much.
It's so beautiful when it happens. Look at this. This lane makes me cry. This takes me back when I found Dota so fun. I'm talking about 2016 before we even met, Mike. I was a young, naive boy who thought this game was super fun. Oh. Now look at me.
And now it's not to you?
It still is. It's just a lot more painful. Like, it's fun in a way that it really hurts you while you're having fun. Like, you're beating yourself up or something, you know? You're constantly hurting yourself, but it's still fun. It's a painful fun. This lane is a very natural funder. You know, Skem and John Will, they're going to be dancing. That setup you talked about, it's going to be pretty good to pull off. Now, the issue here for John Will is you're laning Sven up against a Venomancer support. You're not going to be able to get that done. You will contest the pull, but I don't think this is going to stop LYM for too long. Should be able to still
Oh.
stack that wave up, but good body blocks.
That was LYM forced to use some mana to kick him away. Genuel, of course, going to chase him down. If you are, watching this, if you see this happen in a pub and you're the support, make sure you chase the other support. Don't just let him pull for free. As my teammate did the other day, John, made me very upset. Yopaj mid lane is going to be up against Mamang Daya. Of course, they were up against each other last game around. This should be a much more favored matchup for Mamang Daya on that TA, but you can't really underestimate Yopaj. It is Yopaj Tiny. He is very dangerous on this hero.
Yeah, it definitely is. Mamang Daya should be able to pull ahead, and that's what we need to see here. He needs to leverage his range, leverage that side blade that he can spam out, and make it harder for Yopaj to find his angles. Yopaj is going to need a fast bottle here, which means that he's also going to need a very quick refill once that's up. And if Yopaj doesn't find that refill at minute 4, then you're not doing much as a Tiny without mana. So you're going to have to watch yourself there, Yopaj. Lots of pressure in the supports to get that secured. And speaking of those supports, we've got one more lane up top. UK on that puck is going to be supporting DB on the safe lane NP, and they're going to be up against JG's Abaddon and the Mirana of Play Hard. It's been a slower start for UK. It is a pause 5 puck after all, so there's not much for him to do, and every time he goes for these right-click trades against Playhard, it's not favorable. Playhard has the fast rate band, and he
nice
even gets the arrow.
UK copping it right to the backside. He's going to be alright. He does have a salve, and he just can commit it if he wants, but it looks like he's just going to maybe passively regen, and no, he will salve up. Mid lane, however, Mamang Daya is going to go down. Yopaj able to pick up the first kill in that mid lane, and that's going to mean Yopaj has already basically won this mid lane. Meanwhile, bot lane, Genuel going for Wami. He is very far forward, however, and is basically already dead. Looks like Skem will just ignore Genuel altogether and just keep farming, as every POS 1 tends to do.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate. Skem was trying to help, but he walked into that centaur creep. There were too many of them around. He got stunned up, so the follow-up wasn't there. That does mean Johnwell gets a TP mid though, and we talked about this bottle timing for Yopaj. We saw that kill in Mamang Daya. That was because the bottle came in, and Yopaj with a refill can pull it off again. So Mamang Daya is going to have to watch his spacing there, really respect that burst damage.
Playhard going to run into UK now. They're going to have a fight over those 4-minute power runes, but UK already losing out. Playhard just harassing him away and should be able to secure the top rune if it does spawn there. But Playhard trying to be really annoying and interrupt the stack that was going on from UK. In fact, he does jump in now onto Mamang Daya. Yopaj waiting for the refraction to wear off to go for the avalanche toss, but it's not going to be enough, and now Yopaj is the one in trouble. He'll fairy fire, but he is going to die to the tier 1 tower. Mamang Daya is going to be very, very happy about that.
So good pickup to kind of even that out. Really good rotations from the supports, understanding how important that 4-minute timer was. So they managed to put that pressure in. Yopaj, got to watch that overextension as well. His burst damage is great, but refraction is also really nice now at level 3. So it's a back and forth between these two, and Neon's got to kind of keep that in check. Overall, though, they're still having a good time here, Neon. Scam's farm is looking good, slightly ahead of Nature's Prophet, but otherwise rather even on these pause 1s. And I think we're looking at, say, a 7-minute mark for both of these teams to look for tier 1 tower trades. I'd say Scam's going to have a bit of a faster time, but he did opt for a fighting build. No levels in the Edict, just alt stun, alt slows from the Lightning Storm.
Look at Genuel. Really just guarding that bounty rune so Skem can fill up the bottle, and LYM, he was thinking about it, but he understood it was certain death if he did go in for that bounty. Skem now will just go back, although they are going to Gale, but the roll does not connect, and LYM does not want to borrow this, or maybe he does. He'll go back in. Wami's still moving in. Skem, he'll just TP away. There's going to be nothing to cancel that TP, but they do at least force the Leshrac to go back to the fountain. Meanwhile, top lane, however, Yopaj has rotated onto DB. Arrow will whiff, and tree is planted by DB to try and block the way, and that's actually a very nice tree. They're trying to chop them down. DB, how many trees does he have? DB is going to get out of there. How many? He just committed 3 Ironwood branches, but he does survive. Bot lane, LYM. is going to die. Skem does manage to pick up the kill, and now Wami's going to be in trouble as they do chase him up. Another lightning storm is going to be available. The raindrops, though, keeping him safe, but not safe enough. They would at least get Januel in return. But Skem is going to be very happy with that double kill.
Oh, it definitely is, and they're kind of setting themselves up nicely here. You gotta love that play you saw up top. I love that DB goes back and buys 2 more Iron Branches because he wants that one. So he has to kind of spend it again. So it cost him a little bit of gold to survive, but it is worthwhile in the end. You know, you save your life, you go down bot. We are approaching the point where you'd expect both teams to go for a push. I would have said it's faster for Skem, but again, he skips all of the Edict this time because he wants to play with his timer with support Sven. So you're not going to melt these towers as fast, and that does give Mamang Daya a lot more breathing room. You know, still off to a slower start on that TA. His jungle's just constantly under pressure from play hard, just tossing those arrows out, so it's never a full stack. His farm's just that much slower, that slightly slower, and that's going to hurt his timings.
Top lane. Nice Nature's Wrath coming in, killing off JG on that Abaddon. However, Yapaj going to come in and get himself a nice support kill on the Tiny. Meanwhile, bot lane, DB going to be in a spot of danger, but he will be able to outrun the Sven and Skem. Now there is going to be a rotation out from LYM, but looks like he's just been stacking Ancients. And John, I've been meaning to ask you, what does Mamang Daya mean?
You know, I actually can't tell you because I don't. There's no real direct equivalent in Filipino, so I actually don't know. Mamang is like old man in Filipino, but Daya is like cheat, but it doesn't make sense in that context.
Bot lane, Skem going to be in danger, does go down to LYM, so just getting a bit overly confident there, and they're trying to interrupt Mamang Daya while he farms those Ancients, but Yapaj gets in. Nice avalanche with the Stormhammer. They do kill him off. LYM trying to run now, but the arrow is going to be there. And Januel will pick up a double kill on the support Sven. He is well and truly on his way to carrying this game.
You gotta love to see it. Neon is really making this work out on their end. We aren't seeing any push because of this emphasis on fights, and that's really just down to the fact that Skem did go for a fighting build-up. So they're stalling out the push of Army Geniuses as well, because they're just constantly forcing response. That does leave the top lane alone, so Wami's just finding farm on Veno, but JG's also building up, and it's just going to be straight farm trade there, and overall it's holding steady. Neon is pulling ahead despite going against the TA. Mamang Daya has not gotten that free space, and they may have lost the vision in triangle, but they keep it up in the top jungle entrance. And Yapaj
he's going in. Avalanche going to burn through the refraction into the arrow, but look at these rotations out with the roll in to cancel the TP. Yapaj getting a bit too confident there on the Tiny, does end up paying for it. AG not looking too bad in this game number 2 so far. Thing is, Skem is still somewhat uncontested on the Leshrac and does have the highest net worth in the game. Sitting at about 4k on the Lesh. Looks like that isn't really going to be slowed down too much either, as he is starting to work towards those boots of travel. I mean, they do have eyes on him as we speak, but you don't even have the 6 yet up onto UK, so you can't really hold him down. Skem will just go ahead and start farming the jungle, while JG takes the top tier 1 tower.
And that's just so much time JG's bought out for himself. Like, they're forced to respond with bigger numbers to counteract the aggression from Neon. JG doesn't need to join these fights. He's an Abaddon. And for the most part, he doesn't have his aura items up anyway. His contribution would be minimal. So they're just fine like this. They take the first objective, and that allows Yapaj to roam into that jungle to make use of this ward.
Yapaj moving up towards that top lane. They know DB's around there somewhere. They'll go after the trees instead, and that's actually going to be a fair bit of farm out for our Tiny. They have also spotted out a DD rune up at that top rune spot. Wami will deny it off with the Veno ward. Very nice. Much slower game compared to last game. I mean, we have a lot of kills, which is nice, but in terms of objectives, they are still yet to be taken. I'd say they're okay to just buy Skem more time on the Leshrac.
Yeah. It's just a waiting game. It's the same thing for Army Geniuses. You're trying to build up in Mamang Daya. Still saving up for his Deso Blink. Does have the Blink up though. Just the Deso left. You can maybe start to make some plays, follow up on your Earth Spirit, follow up on your NT. But, you know, JG goes to lane, focus this down a tower, and suddenly that mid-tier one's down to half.
Yapaj, the nice toss back on that Sage Creep, trying to keep it alive, but it will still die. Haven't seen that one before, but that is a way to keep the Siege Creep alive, is just toss it back behind your Creep wave. Very nice.
Yeah, it's one way to really maximize that push. And, you know, tiny plays like that can stack up. It doesn't do too much, but, you know, the tower's down to 837. Next time they go in, they could take it out. Gotta love this vision from Neon. Just look at it. All across the map, top lane, they know where DB's farming. They've got one on the ramp. They've got one defensive one on the bottom, which did expire. So they're not aware anymore in this area, but they're not playing in this area. So that's completely fine. Army Geniuses only keeping control of their triangle. Again, just keeping Mamang Daya safe. And they've got an entrance to jungle here just to watch any rotations. But it's not as wide-reaching, and that's because they haven't taken a tower.
Top lane, they're going to go after DB. Smoke is broken. DB just waiting it out a little bit. Does have the Blade Mail, but doesn't even bother popping it. He does now, but it might just be too late, or maybe not. He's going for the TP play, and he is going to make it out. All right, they just didn't have the damage output. And meanwhile, Skem ends up dying in the mid lane. They want to go after that tier 1 mid tower. Then Yuel is going to clear out the wave. Roll in onto the Sven. The boulder smash out, but Arrow is going to be there from Play Hard to hold down the Earth Spirit. They are still pushing, however. DB is just around the corner. They are going to let this tier 1 go for now. I'm going to say, I think Yapaj may want to just focus in on trying to finish off that Blink Dagger ASAP. It's a bit slow for his standards, I'm going to say, as bot lane, speaking of blinks, Mamandaya does blink in. After Skem once again, he's going to try and run, but he's being blocked up by these trains, and the damage up from Mamandaya is quite nice, but now they look to try and turn this one around. Genuel looking for a Stormhammer, will commit onto DB with the Avalanche toss out, and that will be enough. They will not really get Mamandaya, however. Blink TP, UK will be fine to just fly himself out of there.
Yeah, it's back and forth. Neon does find himself slightly ahead. They did lose Scam earlier, so in a way that sort of evens it out. But you're pretty happy if you are Neon, still maintaining that 2k lead. Army Genius just waiting for Mamang Daya to still finish up that Deso. One part away. Once you have that, you can play a bit more active. You do want the same thing for Yapaj, though. He's been forced to be super active. He's about 100 gold off that blink. So just finish that up, Yapaj. You need it to really gap close and get the damage out. Beyond that, still finding decent pace. UK, he's fine. Keep his away as if Abaddon doesn't really stop anything. And we just hold out once more. Just back to farming, back to building up. You have some really good space here for your cores, and you can just kind of afford to do this.
He's about 100 gold off. Deso is going to be up fairly soon, though, for Mamang Daya, and that's going to be a cause of concern for the side of Neon. OIM going to hang around that top spot. DB, he's going for a Hood Defiance on that Nature's Prophet, so just wanting to be able to tank through the magic damage of the Lash as JG now, bot lane, going to be by himself, does have the Aphotic Shield and the Borrowed Time. Get it popped, but he's looking to be in a pretty bad spot. He'll break the coil, but there is no chance of survival. Another nice pickup here for Army Geniuses.
Yeah, evens it out, but the Paj with the blink might look for a counter kill.
He does. They will get him. UK gets taken out here by Neon. 9-8 now with a 2k net worth lead. One main concern for Neon is still going to be Mamang Daya, who is freely farming up somewhat on the TA. Almost at that Deso, and once he has that up, he has much more burst potential. Top lane, they are going to roll in onto Skem. He'll pop the Edict with the Pulse Nova, but there's DB coming in now with the Blade Mail on Skem. Just melts so darn quick. Januel, he's going to try and fight this out with Yopaj, and it looks like they might even get DB here. So he's trying to run away, but Yopaj is going to get rolled on. LYM still alive, but does eventually die, and there goes Januel as well. But the buyback here from Skem, Arrow is going to be out onto that TA with the Split Earth, and now they can just burst through Mamangdaya, or maybe he just bursts through Skem. He's trying, but the Aphotic Shield will save. A 4-man Dream Coil is finally there from UK. But it's not really going to matter as Yopaj will continue chasing forward, does find out both of them, but the silence is going to delay things a little bit. He'll go after Wommy though, with the Avalanche Toss and the follow-up arrow from Play Hard. It will be enough damage to kill off the Venno. And ultimately, even if they did commit a buyback on Skem, it is a one-team fight for the side of Neon Esports.
Very costly one. Yopaj might want to be careful and does pull back, but they find the kills. They can't find objectives though. That's something that Army Genius is going to be happy about. Tier 2 top still very healthy. Mid does eventually fall, but that was due to fall for a while. Now Army Geniuses just need to snipe the opposing mid tier 1, which is at 78 HP. You can just kind of toss DB down there and kind of get that done. They might be able to catch Yopaj, but nah. Can they?
Looks like it's going to be alright. 4K net worth lead now. Very back and forth game, but the net worth has been Neon's way the whole game as Yopaj now jumps back in and kills off UK. Straight TP out, but Rolling Thunder, or rather, excuse me, Rolling Boulder is going to connect. Moonlight Shadow will be enough for them to run themselves out of there. And back in fact, but the Sentry is going to give vision with those Venom wards. So they aren't going to bother any further. Or maybe they are, because they do smoke up now. Classic Neon just wanting to fight constantly. They might be fighting into the Deso of Mamangdaya though if he does rotate around. They're not actually going after DB yet. They'll spot him out now. Yopaj with the toss back into the creep wave. DB still fairly healthy, but they should have plenty of control, or maybe not. The Dream Coil is going to come out from DB. More TPs to come in. UK, he's being chased down and will die as well to JG. Nice, easy game right now for Neon Esports.
Yeah, they're finding their timings. They're making the sports Ven work, John Uwell. That's all he needs. It's so simple, right? You press Q, you pop your ult, and even Mamangdaya.
Well, Skem's trying to fight by himself right now, but he actually does end up going down Skem. And now Genuel, what he's doing? Oh, come on now. There's your pass. He'll jump in with the Avalanche Toss to get the kill. Pa's just watching his teammates now like, what are you idiots doing? Get out of there. I'll get the job done.
Definitely. Sometimes, you feel confident, Mike. You run in, you're playing support Sven, you feel strong, then you realize you have Tranquils and the wand, and that's it. Then you regret your choices. John Uwell did bite a timeout though, and they found a kill, and Yopaj gets another.
Yeah, I may as well keep the camera just on Yopaj the whole game. So he is the one that's just setting up kills left, right, and center. Gets the deny on the tier 1 mid tower to boot, and looks like they will just calm down for a little bit as they might just take a bit of a farming break. Skem has died quite a bit though, 3, 4, and 7. So in terms of their late game potential, it may be up to Yopaj to get to that late game kind of powerhouse. But the problem is he has not focused in on his own farm. So could be pretty bad in about 10 minutes when you're up against the Nature's Prophet and TA, who both will probably outscale you on the Leshrac and Tiny. Unless Januel is going to pull off a miracle with the support Sven. But it's highly doubtful, John. His farm is nowhere near where it needs to be, and he's trying to TP, but LYM will have the control. Yopaj, do you want to jump in? No, he doesn't.
You're right when you said Januel would pull a miracle off, Mikey dies. What did you do? What did he do to you, Mike? Just because he's playing support Sven, you don't have to let him die. Don't curse him. He's having a good game. We'll see though.
Is he?
2, 4, and 8. That's slightly better than Skem. I'd say yeah. You're okay if you're the Sven. Army Geniuses, though, they understand they can find more. They are smoked up with Mamang Daya. Still want to use this Desolator in a big way, but they might just opt for a Rochelle, though.
Yeah, there goes Wami, but Yapaj now in a very difficult scenario. He's surrounded by 3 heroes and is going to die. In fact, Playhard is also caught out by the Dream Coil. He'll mech up, he tries to run, but Mamang Daya is going to have the attack to follow him down. And with those 2 kills, they definitely could go back for a Roshan attempt. There is going to be a quick pause out from Playhard. Neon, I'm not sure what the game plan is here anymore from them. I think they've played around a bit too much here with Army Geniuses and Scam. He's trying to get a Bloodstone up, but I don't think that's going to be the answer to his problems. I'll tell you that, John.
Nope, definitely not. You're still gonna have issues with basically everything here. Does have the gold to just buy it out though, so you can just immediately build it. I don't know if you want to do that right now, when you know that Army Geniuses are right on your door. Looks like they will attempt Roche though. Mamang Dai is just gonna walk up there. You've got some pretty good damage coming out here. DB is already in position. They are building into the Orchid now on the NP. It's a bit of a delayed Orchid, but it's still gonna do some really good work. You don't have anything defensive yet from Neon. No BKBs, no Yules. No way of purging that off beyond just having JG around, which again hasn't really been the case. JG's been much more happy to just split and kind of just farm elsewhere. He is saving up for his halberd though on the Abaddon. So once you have the halberd, TA is gonna have a bit of a rough time, but the BKB for Mamang Daya is kind of lined up. So we'll see how that back and forth goes. Neon still has a slight lead, but you are seeing DB and Mamang Daya pull ahead. The TA and the NP definitely do farm a little bit better. And you mentioned it, but you don't want this game dragging to the 40-minute mark if you're Neon. It becomes a struggle, and you're going to have to pull a miracle off with Johnwell turning around as a core, but he is building into the Glimmer Cape, so you can't expect that to happen anytime soon for Sven.
No, you cannot. You know what would fix this problem, John? A tree vault.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
That's the answer to Team Neon's problems. Just an Aghanim Scepter on their Tiny. Maybe a Daedalus here and there. Problem solved.
Yeah, and we'll see if that's the investment Kupaj will go for. I think he's finished up his Yules, so it's going to be the Blink Yules first, and that does give them a defensive tool beyond just the Aphotic Shield to deal with the future Orchid. Still, that Roche does begin here, and Mamang Dai is just kind of waiting around. But they do go in. They reveal it with a courier kill, though. So now Neon is most definitely aware of it.
They are, but it is going down way too quick. They do get rid of it. It's like JG did see the puck, but UK going to be able to orb out of there just fine. Yule Scepter now up on your Page, so way to purge the silence off that he's been copping. Probably needs it. Into UK, doesn't get the avalanche in time. Scam. Chase down the puck. Arrow. He's going to be there, but doesn't land. They really want this puck dead. Warp the other way, and he's just going to die. Scam will get him eventually.
Yep. The beauty of that Leshrac, you can't really juke around because he just burns right through you. So a decent kill coming out. A lot of time expended here from Neon to find that, though. Free space given out for Army Geniuses. Shoving in the bot lane. DB's stacking up his creep wave, and they can really start to melt these towers if they just leave them alone.
OYM. Away from JG. They just want the tier 2 tower. Amandaya is going to rotate around. He does almost have that BKB up, so you're starting to look at that the peak of the TA very, very soon from Amandaya. In fact, he does have the full thing up now, just on the way in the courier. JG going to be somewhat cautious here down at that bot lane. Looks like he's going to run away in time. They're going to continue for this tier 2 bot tower. Pings are coming out for the top tier 2 for the side of Neon if they wanted to try and rotate over, but they are a fair ways away, so instead they're going for the mid tier 2. But AG should definitely be able to rotate and defend. after this glyph is over, of course, and it looks like they have gone for a smoke. Yopaj now clearing out the top wave, just to set up for that as well. Smoke is still coming, however. They have spotted out JG. Smoke is broken. Smoke is unsuccessful for AG. They continue to rotate up towards the north of the map. But it seems like they just can't find a way to get past JG, who's just blocking it consistently. Mamangdai tries to get a bit of a burst on the Abaddon, but he's going to be alright. Instead, here come the TBs. DB going to get the Sprout off onto Januel. He's just going to sit there and accept that he is going to die. Rest of Neon is going to have to back off without finishing off that tier 2.
Yeah, it's a messy situation for Neon. Army Geniuses are doing the right plays here. They're kind of splitting that map up. They don't have the network lead, but their cores in Mamangdaya and DB are pulling ahead. So that scaling we talked about is starting to pile on. Neon need to make something happen. They've got a 4-staff now in Yopaj. They need to gap close and find some kills.
He's got JG, or rather not JG, but DB there. That'll be DB going down. Blade Mail not really helping him out enough. Mamangdaya UK, they were around trying to get in range to help, but looks like they're going to be just fine. Yeah, the slow game continues here.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like Less Fracture. Just, you get behind and you just can't do anything.
Yeah, pretty much. Scam's just kind of forced to try to farm up. They catch JG though.
They do. JG gonna make a run. While mid, Scam gonna get used up into the Split Earth, but it is missed, and that'll mean Mamangdaya does happily turn back around. In fact, he does have help in the form of UK coming in with the Dream Call out. They've caught that Mirana. Mamangdaya going to go for the Blink with the Meld Strike and a follow-up, but he needs one more. He's got the trap there. Play hard. He cannot leap away. He did not have any more charges, but here comes Mr. Yopaj. He is off the mark with the Blink, though. Into that mid lane. DB. Go after JG. It's going to be alright though, the tanky Abaddon. Just fine. Run back into that TA and threaten with his presence as Yopaj is waiting on the high ground, but he's being traced by a Treant. Actually has to commit the avalanche to kill it off. Meanwhile, roll in onto Januel. This poor support Sven is not having a good game at all. And they will just commit so many spells onto him. JG, he's going to Aphotic Shield and run. Januel pops God Strength for some reason. Is going to die anyway. Yopaj meanwhile with an avalanche toss and the spin down from Scam on the high ground, trying to hold them back. JG, he's stuck in the Sprout, trying to survive. Yopaj going to go back in for another avalanche toss and does end up getting Wommy, but that's pretty much it for now. YM in UK getting pretty low. DB, TPing right in the middle, is probably going to die here to Scam as he now does chase down the puck, and they are just melting. Neon eventually to get the team fight their way, and we have a pause out from AG. Not sure what it's about. I think someone just got a bit of a slap from somebody else. Someone's made a mistake here.
Oh yeah, I mean that's almost a full team wipe coming out for Neon. They managed to turn it around after kind of dropping a couple of viewers there. Does cost the buyback, but they're in a perfectly good spot. Widening the lead to 6K. So they're still in the game. They're still finding the angles to come in, and the execution for Army Geniuses needs to be a bit better. You talked about that BKB timing on Mamangdaya. He didn't use it at all in that fight. He's just kind of stuck, forced to go back. And now JG has been given enough space to finish up his Heaven's Halberd. So if you can get the timing right, get the Halberd off first, TA, then pop the BKB, you're not going to do anything with those charges. So pretty good timing coming out here for JG to find that farm. Going to be trickier now to get the angles out for Mamangdaya. Going to have to watch that Heaven's Halberd play. It's going to be very important for Neon in these fights. But they're in a good spot now.
Did you see Mamangdaya, John? Divine
Ooh.
Rapier.
Ooh.
Alright, I mean, I thought it was a bit preemptive for that, but I suppose so. Why not?
Yeah, I like it. It's one way to end the game fast if you're feeling confident, and RTA is pretty darn strong right now. So if they can find a steady farm into that Sacred Relic, you're going to be in a very good spot and just kind of try to force the game out faster. Of course, Neon will have a very tasty target on hand. Once they see that Divine, you have to be a bit cautious there if you are Mamang Daya.
JG gonna have the help there from Skem to push down this bottom tier 2 tower. Play hard, still hanging around the side of AG up at that top lane. AG not responding to the push that's coming in. Januel gonna Glimmer Cape run. That bottom tier 2 is still dropping. They do get the Dream Call off now onto the Sven, so Januel pops the COD strength and is trying to fight back. But here comes Yapar with the Avalanche toss, almost kills off the Puck, but not quite. UK, he'll phase shift and survive, play hard. He's going to be able to run away, and while all that's happening, the tier 3 bottom tower is just going down. TP's cancelled now, so they just keep going. And Yapage, I believe he was the one to cancel the TPs on. He might die for this, but it is for the greater good, as the rest of his team will just take a free rats.
Oh man, that is a really big play coming out for Neon. And just winning out that split push. They'll lose a tier 2, but what does it really matter when you find a full set of rack spot and they're just dancing? They can go back for the defense now.
G. Gonna back off. I mean, I guess they could try to wait for the next Roshan, but they're in a pretty peculiar situation now. One rack's down, 7k behind, still trying to get this Divine Rapier up on Mamang Daya.
Very close.
I mean, the thing is though, that Divine, is it really going to solve the problems?
I'd say no. I don't think damage is their issue here. It really isn't. It's more of execution and control. I mean, that Orb of Destruction is lovely as well. And there you go. Let's see what Mamang Daya does. I love the commitment.
Yeah.
He's just going for it, and it will have to pay off. If he dies, well, at least you don't have a natural Divine carrier. Like, you give it in Januel, you're just kind of laughing. No one really cares about, except Tiny, but...
Oh, Yapage gonna be able to catch out this LYM Earth Spirit, and he's almost dead, but not quite yet. Still, roll is gonna be blocked. On the brighter side, Mamang Daya does have a BKB this game, so unlike yesterday, John, he's actually got a way to survive.
It's still a 10-second charge. He's had that for like 10 minutes now.
Yapage is going to jump straight in. Mamang Daya now going to go in and show off his new Divine Rapier. Yapage is not actually going to cop any damage. He's going to be fine. Wami.
What?
Yeah. Wami going to drop. Yapage is perfectly safe as Mamang Daya apparently has no damage with the Divine Rapier. Nobody's dying. Scam? No, he'll be right. What is this?
What do you see?
Januel gonna go after LYM. 2 meld strikes with a Divine Rapier Deso does nothing. There's something going on here. Wait, what is it?
Maybe it's just Warcry stacking with all the armor. They have built up
true.
Shiva's guards, and Warcry is pretty darn fantastic. So this investment on Mamang Daya is now super awkward. You've got 500 right-click damage per hit, but they've got 1 billion armor because of the support Sven, and they have Guardian Greaves when they're low. It's actually not doing much.
Oh, UK gonna be scattered. I can't believe this is actually happening. UK's gonna get caught out. How much armor do they have with Warcry on? Because Warcry gives you plus 15, right?
Oh yeah.
Plus 15.
Yep.
So you get plus 15 armor from him. The Shiva's Guard is giving a lot of armor.
Yeah. Or Mirana has like 14 plus 10, right? Using that as a baseline to support Mirana, 14 plus 10. Would Warcry up? Yeah, I can see why you're having damage issues here now for the TA. And I don't know if this investment's still worthwhile. I'm not sure, because now Mamang Daya is just going to be scared to fully commit. And this Roche is going to melt. That's Aegis cheese now for Neon. Army geniuses might have caught themselves in a bit of a trap.
Yeah, I mean, it ironically, considering the TA is the one holding the Divine Rapier. Let's see this. Yopaj right now, 36, I believe it is, armor without the Warcry active. Wommy gonna get stunned up. Yopaj just jumps in. That'll be Wommy gone. Yeah, so 36 without Warcry. Assuming the Leshrac is around him. And then when you activate the Warcry, it's plus 15. So 51 armor. Wow. That's something pretty new. I haven't seen this kind of strap before. It's pretty
working.
Good. Yeah.
It's working darn well. And you have to remember, they don't even have like an AC yet. They don't have like a Crimson Guard. So this could still get a lot worse for Mamang Daya's damage. Like, I'm seeing JG queue up that AC next. And once that's up, I don't know what you want to do now. Because you have to find those kills with the Divine, but to find kills you have to be in front, and you're not going to find those kills because of all the armor. So what does Mamang Daya actually do now?
It's a very good question, John. He's got the right idea. He's going to go for a Daedalus now. I guess if you can crit off the Divine, it's kind of nice. Scam getting caught out here up at that top lane. He's going to be silenced. He does have a Yules of BKB. Is holding on to it for now, but he might just die, and he does, but that is the Aegis. Meanwhile, Yopaj breaking the Dream Coil, does get Poison Nova'd up. Scam is still alone trying to fight this one out, but here comes his team. They roll in. Yopaj trying to go after LYM, does get the Avalanche toss with the Ethereal Blade, but he is still alive. Scam, meanwhile, killing off Wommy. Now DB goes down, it's on to Mamang Daya. Rather, Mamang Daya. And he's going to BKB TP. This game is looking to be a bit over here for RP Geniuses. You can't kill anyone. They actually can't kill them.
You know what happened there, Mike? So that fight broke out. Mamang Daya ended up in the tree line with no patting. He was legitimately stuck there, Blink Dagger on cooldown. He was just staring. He needed his Earth Spirit to roll in, break some trees. But at that point, Scam was already back with his BKB, with his Yules. There was nothing he could do, and high ground being sieged, one person against the world, and Mamang Daya can't even force his body out because he holds the Divine.
Imagine buying a Divine and doing no damage. How sad would you feel? How sad would you feel buying a Divine and doing literally no damage?
Oh, it's depressing, Mike. It is such a sad feeling. You know, you feel like a god. You get Divine, and then you realize it just doesn't do anything. You tickle.
I want to see it. Jump. There we go. Okay.
AC?
Okay, he got one. Yopaj, Avalanche Toss is going to be there. UK will go down. Mamang Daya onto the Leshrac, but both have been used up. He's going to pop the BKB, trying to go for this now. On to Scam. Will force staff away. Play hard. He is going to be fine. That Divine just does nothing. It does nothing as Scam is going to turn, realizing they have zero damage, and yeah, they're going to get Pulse Nova'd down. The Divine's on the deck. What does it matter, John? It meant nothing in the first place. Yopaj is holding it now like, what is this crap? I don't need this.
Oh boy. Oh man.
That is a sad Divine Rapier game.
Whew. That is legitimately the first time we've seen a Divine Rush that tickles. It just tickled, and I'm just awestruck that Neon kind of sensed that. I don't know if they did, because this was just a natural build-up, right? Like, it's not like they went out of their way to buy this plus armor items in that Shivas.
I mean,
it's still a Shivas build-up in the end, right? Like, you naturally go into it. They had the Guardian Greaves.
Yeah, the Shivas, Guardian Greaves, Warcry, which is plus 15. What else is there? I mean, JG is there on the Abaddon, which makes it that much harder, I guess. And he had the AC on top. I mean, it was the last time I checked without the AC, it was plus 51 on your patch. Yep. So with the AC, I mean, it's just getting to the point where it's just ridiculous. And I haven't seen that before, John. So there you go. We figured out a way to counter the Divine Rapier and make it look like nothing. Maybe Divine needs a buff.
Oh God, help us if it does, Mike. You'll see it every pub, everyone trying to rush it. Still, Good performance from Neon. A lot more back and forth in that game too. Army Geniuses have yet to find a clean win. They don't find a draw there as well. Let's see where else they can start to climb up, but it's starting to look pretty bad for the Indonesian boys. But Neon, they've gotten an opportunity to keep finding those wins and climb up further down in groups.
All right, with that, John, we are going to move on to our next series. It is, of course, going to be the side of 496 up against Signal Ultra. Signal Ultra does have 2 games, or rather 2 series in a row today. See how they do perform up against 496 to start things off. And it's MLP Dota and JohnXFire. We'll be back in about 10 minutes for the first game of that BO2.